This is July 28th, 2018, and this is my bicycle collection. I have your 1967 Schwinn Fastback. I dubbed the Rust Stingray. Just about everything on it's rusted and seized, but my plan is to get it rideable, but still look like this. I bought this bike at a local auction for about $100. You got a 1972 Fastback. Bought this bike across the street from where my parents used to live for 35 bucks. Basically just as it sits outside of the rear tire. Which, when I got it, this was the first stick bike I ever got. And I rode it so much that I blew the tube out of the sidewall of the rear slick. I do still have the rear tire, but it will no longer hold air. 1971 Schwinn Fastback. Got this bike at a local auction. Bike is all original as you see it. It still does feature its rear slick on it still. And it does have a Stingray speedometer on it. It does still function. It is still working. It's not seized up. Then you have your 1973 Sunset Orange disc brake orange Krate. It's all original minus the tires. They were pretty much rotted as I found them. This bike was found in a body shop approximately 5 minutes from where my parents lived. Guy took it in on trade. It has a working speedometer on it, but the head is not a Stingray Speedo head. Got a 1972 Coaster orange Krate. It's the only coaster brake I've been able to obtain. It does have a 1998 reproduction seat on it, but the paint overall isn't too bad. Then you have your 1972 disc brake apple Krate. I put the accessory Schwinn lock on it, which is indeed a Schwinn lock, and the pumpkin ball headlight. I bought this bike approximately 10 minutes from where I work. Paint's actually really good on it. The bike is all original down to the tires. And you have another 1972 disc brake apple Krate. I bought this bike out of Florida on the Schwinn bike forum. This was the third bike, the third Krate I ever got. First disc bike I ever got. Then you have a 1972 disc brake lemon peeler. Bike's all original with the exception of the Goodyear grasshopper yellow slick. Took this bike in on trade. I traded a 1961 black 5-speed Corvette for it, as well as another. I traded the 65 Violet towards this bike. Came out pretty good on it. Probably my favorite bike just because of the rear tire right now. Then you got your December of '71 disc brake Pea Picker. Bought this bike for $300. It's all original down to the tires. I added the Schwinn combo lock and the pumpkin ball style headlight. Paint is really good. I consider this to be probably one of my best finds. And this one was actually brought to me. I actually didn't luck up on it, but somebody else lucked up on it for me. But original seat still. That's pretty cool. 1971 apple Krate with Goodyear grasshopper slick. Original down to the, I guess you could say the tires outside of the accessory tire. Found this bike at a yard sale. Paid $200 for it. Paint's pretty good. I did touch up the rear white line on the slick because when I got it there was practically none left. 1971 Gray Ghost project bike that I've been trying to piece together. When I got it, it was missing way more than what you see here. So I've kind of been throwing it together as I go. But real Gray Ghost. Then you have another 1971 Gray Ghost. It's all original down to the tires. I found this bike on Craigslist. It was covered in red spray paint, and it took me about I'd say a good solid week with Q-tips and enamel reducer to get it all off. But everything was absolutely covered. I have $400 in that Gray Ghost, as you see it. 1971 cotton picker. This actually came out of one of my friend's house. Basically, got this bike for, I believe, 350 bucks. Bike's all original. I consider this to be one of my better finds. It's got one of the better cotton picker chain guards I've seen. It's got one of the better seats that I've seen. It does have a working speedometer on it. Only cotton picker I've ever came across. It's the only cotton picker I have. Yet I have 2 Gray Ghosts. I think cottons are probably just the hardest ones to find. Then you have a 1969 Pea Picker. I'm only missing one of the 69 series. It does have the right and correct green line gripper slick, and it features the turn signal, the Stingray accessory turn signals. And I don't care who you are, you can't tell me a jealous kid didn't do this. There has not been a single Stingray seat that I've seen that is split like this with a deep cut down the center of it. Somebody got jealous. Somebody probably got a Huffy or something. Wanted a damn Pea Picker. The bike is all original. Got a 1969 orange Krate. It's all original. It does feature the correct orange line gripper slick. This was the first Krate I ever purchased. My dad had one when he was a kid, and it kind of got stolen from him, so when I was able to start picking these things up, we went out looking for an orange Krate to replace his. 1969 lemon peeler. This bike's all original as well. It does feature the correct yellow line gripper for a 69, and it does feature the correct yellow / gold glitter grips for the 69 lemon peeler. This was the second bike I ever got. It came out of New Jersey. Bought this bike off Schwinn Bike Forum as well. Then you have your 1968, my moderately restored Apple Krate. It's original paint frame, the Springer front hoop, sissy bar, or not sissy bar, but seat post, gooseneck, crank arms, and I believe rear fender have all been re-chromed, but they are all original Schwinn. It's a Pete seat recover. It does feature the correct red line slick for a 68. It's a solid slick, not a gripper. The bike was sold through a Harley dealership, which is pretty cool. It does feature the dealer tag, which is pretty neat. And it does feature a pogo seat post, which is also pretty cool. Then I have another 1968 Apple Krate. A buddy of mine found this in a body shop. Bike looked like total mess when I got it, but Evapo Rust, which I highly recommend, does work wonders. Bike's all original minus the seat, obviously. The seat was wrapped in furnace tape, and about 30-40 years of it being wrapped in furnace tape just kind of cemented itself to it. But overall, still a really nice shaped bike. 1968 Apple Krate, I dubbed the Rotten Apple. It's kind of my rider. Everything's fully functioning. It will hit all 5 gears. It does have a pogo seat post, but the thing is locked up. But this is my fun bike. You don't have to worry about it getting wet, being knocked over, and you still get the enjoyment of riding a Krate, which is pretty cool. I painted the lines on the tires, so don't get worried about that. Then you have your 1965 Stingray Deluxe Stingray. All original bike down to the tires. This bike is an N serial number bike, which some people recognize as being a very, very, very limited window of production in 65. It's technically 64. December of 64, Schwinn needed a few extra days to meet production, and they called back their workers, and everybody knows that the M is technically referred to as December on a Schwinn serial number, and this bike if I can show you, will actually feature an N on the serial number. And they did that because everything had already been changed over. And I believe they only used that serial number for about 10 days of production in '64. Then you have your 1964 Based Stingray. This bike is a February bike, so an early of '64. Bike is all original down to the tires. Original paint, original screen. Does feature the correct center stamped S2 and S7. I added the tiger tail. It has the non-crimped, the early non-crimped person style squareback sissy bar. I have 70 bucks in this bike as you see it. Wish I could find them like that all day long, but doesn't everybody. Then you have a 1968 Sears Huffy rail project that I've been working on. Man, the chain guards on these are hard to find, but I've just been trying to piece it together as best I can. I only have 40 bucks in it. This bike came from approximately about half-hour away from me. It's the only off-brand muscle bike that I have. And then pretty much my non-muscle bikes include this 1956 Schwinn Wasp. It's got the accessory tank, and the horn does work. And it also has the accessory springer on it, so it's pretty much the same as you know, these were kind of like the same as a Phantom, just not as fancy. No chrome fenders, no chrome on the tank. I believe these did come with a 6-hole rear rack or a 9-hole if you wanted it, but this one has either been lost or it just never came with one. 1962 Schwinn Corvette 5-speed. They only made these for about 18 months, I believe. Pretty rare. I had a black one, and I traded it on the lemon peeler that you saw prior. Pretty neat, easy riding bikes, especially with the 5-speed. Then you have a Schwinn Racer. This bike was given to me by my uncle. It's a 71. It's very clean, pretty well taken care of. I consider it kind of my ugly duckling just because it doesn't quite fit into everything else, but it is still a very nice riding bicycle. And then my 1930s Cleveland Welding Company / Roadmaster cycle truck that I have made into a late 30s, early 40s gas station parts runner bike. I hand painted the sign myself. It's got everything on it, just it's a mash of parts. 3-speed internal hub. Rear wheel, that's a 26-inch wheel, 20-inch BMX front wheel. It's got a 20-inch cream colored black sidewall BMX front tire on it, a 26-inch cruiser cream colored tire for the back, Schwinn Stingray mag, walled Phantom style, I believe, handlebars, and the fork had to be custom made. The front fender is off of a Schwinn, but I cannot remember. It's a girl's bike from mid-50s. I used a real mobile oil shipping crate for the box. And as you can see, it's got the Coke bottle grips. And there's the shifter. It's got a Brooks seat on it. I think I hit it pretty good with period correct stuff. I really like this bike, how it turned out. I'll give you guys one more walkthrough of everything. And it seems like every time I make one of these, another bike shows up about a week later. So we'll see if I'm just lucky like that, or I always outdate the video typically before I even post it. But I'll say thanks for watching. I enjoy bringing these bikes out and showing them to you guys. Thanks for watching this video.